The world is watching.
I'm glad y'all tuned in. We about to get the show started. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winners and Yoshi. Yeah. Then and now. We talking about back in the day and right now. Yeah.
Now let's introduce Yoshima the Genius and Dr. Clyde Winters, the godfather of research.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Better late than never, baby.
No, that's
Better
right.
late
What's up?
than never, baby.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, man.
Peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah.
Man, I've been walking around in the dream world.
What's going
I've
on,
been
Bobby?
thinking about, man, I've been thinking about the future, baby. Thinking about the future.
I love that. I love it.
You know, you see, I'm stubborn. No, hey. Now, when I say it's okay. When you say now you sound like you're about to go into one of them 60 soul songs. When you're about to beg that woman, you ain't in trouble, are you? You ain't in trouble, are you?
I'm not in trouble. Nah.
Okay, that's good, because man, it sounds like you was about to go into one of them songs when brothers be begging they woman back. Come on, back
me. Yeah. All that. Nah. Now, what's going on, Baba? What got you saying I and stuttering? What's going on?
This has been a very interesting week. It's been a week in the sense where I've been trying to get grounded. Seems as though I was in outer space or some other place, or you know, my niece called me today from Texas. She called me from
Peace, niece.
Is it Texas? No, she's in California now.
Okay.
And, you know, because she's about to graduate from law school. And I was saying, damn, I said, I wish that would have happened when I was younger. Then I could have got her to do some lawsuits. Maybe.
But it'll work, huh?
Yeah. But I told her I'm excited about it. You know, go ahead and get it done. You know, because, you know, the girls, they wanted to go to college and be somebody. The boys, they wanted to go and find my wife used to say the only thing my boys want to do is be handy with their wives or with their girlfriends. That's the only handiness they wanted.
Right.
You know, they didn't want to learn a trade. They didn't want to learn how to use their hands and make money, because that's how you make money. You got to learn how to use your hands. You got to be creative, because you know your future's in your hands. Nobody else has your future but you.
That's why I like how you said you're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot, because the future is now and what we're doing here today. And time is continuous. Mm-hmm. So we continue to go up in this loop, and we must learn from our mistakes. At any given moment, there's a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
And not even just the mistakes, but just learn from life in general. All the given opportunities. I don't know, Baba, you know, when I created that thumbnail.
Which one?
The one here for today.
Yeah.
It when I did it, I was just thinking about what is the end game? When you learn what you have learned, when you have mastered your craft and you feel comfortable in your field, what's next? You know, I hear people saying, you know, you got to learn the law. And when you learn the law, you know, you can go to court and you have a chance in court. But even with learning small law, like in the streets in general, knowing what the police can do and what they can't do and how they break the law. And then when you go to jail and then they're like, do you want to take this up to court? It'll take all the way into the weekend to get you in court. And you're like, this goddamn law. And you got to sit in that cell and wait. And then you got to fight. And then they may be with you. They may be against you. It all depends. Still, when does it work in your favor? So I always think I'm always in deep thought on because the Aboriginal regionalist people, you know, the ones that really claim that they're not black, that they're indigenous, and they claim to a tribe, and then they get pulled over, and then they're, you know, just like the Moors. When they get pulled over, they testing the law and they going up against the law and
they going to jail.
And they go to jail. That's the, so that's what I'm saying. So even when you learn the law, they still it don't because they work at it in their favor, and you gotta prove yourself even more than anything when especially when you know the law, because when you know it and knowing you can't do nothing about it, how does that feel to learn that, able to use it? It just it's useless knowledge sometimes, Baba. That so I'm with you on that. What's the future? And sitting there thinking about the future and looking at my peers. Oh man, not true, brother. Yeah. Well, yeah, you talking about with the getting pulled over and going to jail. Man, from what I know Baba, you know too, with the Moors, because they really be on that big time as far as like what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
You know,
But see, the more they be on that stuff. But see, they forget. They in my book Law and Nationality, I explain how they stopped the treaty with the Moors. The Moors think the treaty's still going on. No. The Moors, the treaty is not going on anymore. And right after Bacon's rebellion, they said a nigger. I'm sorry to say it. You know, black, you Negro. And so see, this is very important in understanding. But see, the thing how you doing, Morris Jasper, CGI Kid. The thing that people don't understand is that the future is now. You know, in Swahili we have Sasa and Nana and Sasa. You know, president. You know, that's the future. You know, the present. See, it's only the present. It's only the present because see, the present. You have the present, and then what comes after the present? The past. It's in the past. You know, I was confounded.
What's up?
You know, I looked at this program last week, and it was called the three body problem. And in the three body problem, I brought it up on I brought it up last week. Is that what happened is that this Chinese lady, she was in communist China during the Cultural Revolution. The Cultural Revolution, if you had education, they put your ass on a damn plantation, and you worked like a Hebrew slave, or they killed you. And so then she got this radio message, and the radio message said, "Don't answer. And then what she did is that she answered. And then when she answered, these people see, the whole point is that it goes to this theory is that it's everything is a wild forest. You know, and when you go in the forest and you go out to hunt, then therefore, in a sense, there's somebody out there that might want to hunt you. And so what it was saying is that by her answering that call, that let some aliens know that we existed. So they was coming to kill us off and take over the planet. In other words, when the Wild Wild West is just like when you said, when you out in the street and you driving. You see, we got a problem too, in the sense is that when you're young and the police see you driving, then therefore, in a sense, they stop your car. See, But the only problem is that in Chicago we got what's called the techs, and the techs, they be in a plain clothes car. They don't be in a police car. They be in a plain clothes car. You see, and
Wow.
so now you living in the hood. You living in the hood, man. You living in the hood, man. And so then, yeah, man, you living in the hood. And when you living in the hood, you know,
Right.
you're always very suspicious. When you drive, I know you be on red alert. When you drive,
Absolutely.
you're on red
Yeah.
alert. You know, you sometimes, you know, like if your wife with you, don't do stupid shit. Excuse me.
hmm
I'm sorry. I'm cussing.
No,
Excuse
you're right.
me.
You're right.
But you don't do stupid stuff. But when your wife ain't with you, sometimes you'll get a little road rage or something like that. And you might want to say something to somebody. And then you say, damn, why did I say that? They might pull out a gun, a pistol, and shoot me. And so then,
hmm
what happens is that you in a dilemma. You're in a dilemma because you know the future. The future is there for everybody. And we see the future, but our future is today because see, you know that when you get in that car, if you don't handle yourself correctly, you could be deleted. See,
Absolutely. You'll be here today and gone tomorrow.
that's
One day,
right.
yeah, baby. And then you're gone. Straight up like that.
That's
So
right.
being on your P's and Q's and knowing when to pick and choose your battles, knowing when to stand up, knowing, because sometimes you know when a cop is hot headed. And when you can sense that, do you go up against that person? Nah, man. You got to know when to kind of chill and relax. I got sent to jail before for not having a seatbelt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So abuse of power is mandatory down here in Texas. They really abuse that power. So
Well,
because the tow truck and the police work hand in hand. So pull you over. They're looking to get a payday. They're looking to take your vehicle and take you to jail. So the police will get, they get the points for their day, and then the tow truck driver receive your vehicle. And when you get impounded, you got to get it out. So they pick and choose with battles. They pick
man,
and choose who they want to mess with, Baba.
back
That's
in the
the.
'80s, I was at a low point. I was at a
hmm
very low point. You know, I couldn't see the future. What happened is that I was I just went to Renoka Rashidi. He had invited me out to Compton College to speak, so I went out there to speak. So, I gave him a lot of so I got to him. And so then I was also hanging around with this brother that used to be at Howard University, Suleiman Yang,
hmm
Suleiman Yang. And so then when while I was out there, I had a dream that this guy named Hunter Adams was sleeping up under my bed and stuff.
Mm.
So then so then so then so then so then when I came home, when I came back to Chicago, because back in the '80s, when they talked about the rich and famous,
hmm
well, I was the famous.
Mm.
So so and so then since I was famous, so I got people fly. I got used to be flued all over the damn place. Now but
Oh.
to do with conferences and stuff like that.
hmm
So this particular time when I came back home, I said, baby doll, I said that I had a dream that Hunter Adams was under my bed, and she said, well, that mean that he's the Judas. He's the Judas. And
Wow.
she said he gonna sell you out.
How
And
does
so
she determine these, dissect these dreams?
my wife was very empathetic. But then we used to always talk about our dreams back in the day, because when times of trouble, you always talk about your dreams. There's
Right.
three types of dreams. It's dreams of today. It's dreams of today. It's it's dreams of it's nightmares,
hmm
and then it's dreams of the future. So you have a status dream, you have a dream of the future, and all that. So then we talked about it, and so then when I got back, man, you know, My wife was sick, and so I used to, like I said, I didn't pay no money. I was flued out. So Suleiman Yang, he died. I think Dr. Short said he died a year or two ago. He was at Howard. He's the head of the African Studies Department. So Yaki, brother, because I used to hang around. I used to hang around with the Arab Muslims and all that type of issue. We go stay at hotels and they call up their host. They're very religious. Called up them damn hoes, baby. But anyway. So I wasn't part of it. Oh yes, sir, man. Just fakes, man. Everybody, most of these people are fakes.
Right.
So he called me. He said, Clyde, I want you to come down to Urbana. We're gonna do a conference. I'm in Chicago. Urbana, about 125 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is sick. I can't come down there. He said, Clyde, we want you down in Urbana. I said, motherfucker, who the fuck you are? You ain't my damn daddy. And so then after I wouldn't come down there, so they cut me off from the Muslim community.
Because of that. Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Orthodox Muslim. I'm not talking about the Nation of Islam. I'm talking about the Muslims, the Saudi Arabians, the people with the money, all that type of shit. Because I was at that time I used to be the expert on Islam until one of those other folks went over to China. I used to be the expert on Islam in China till one of them folks went to China, and after that, them folks got it. And so then at the same time I had sent this translation of the Mayan hieroglyphics, I sent it to Ivan Van Sertima. And I said, I want this in the journal. We were editors of the Journal of African Civilization. So I said, hey, I want this in the thing. He said, Clyde, I'm not going to publish it. I'm not going to publish it. He was a Guyanese. I said, what? I said, I want it published. Well, I'm not going to publish it, Clyde. And so then, months later, Alexander von Woodnall, he wrote a book on blacks in ancient Mexico. So von Woodnall, I said, me and Ivan, we don't click anymore. He said, yeah. He said, oh, that's because Barry Fell said that either you be Clyde's friend or my friend. And so Barry Fell was at Harvard University. So Ivan said, nigga, what? You're gone. And so after that, man, I was abandoned. They went around saying I was dead. Oh yeah, they said I was dead, all type of stuff. But the thing is, but see, they had no control over the future. They had no control over the future, man. Just like a brother like you. I know in Houston, a lot of them brothers who you've been dealing with, I bet they try to tell you don't have a future.
How many tried to shun me? Man, I had so many. My wife fed up with it, because people try to take advantage. So they'll take your kindness for weakness, and I know you've been through a lot of that because I was reading your book, The Pathfinder.
Oh yeah.
And in that book, you explain how people shun you, how they took your research, didn't give you the props, the case that you sent to court, how they rejected that. Man, it's just some messed up stuff that was happening here.
But I made a mistake, I didn't make a mistake. See, I made a mistake. What up, though, JP? I made a mistake because back then I wouldn't lie or nothing. I wouldn't lie or nothing. My mother-in-law said, "You gonna lie one day, nigga." I said, I will never lie. Feasibility, I will never lie. I will never lie. That didn't last. And so then, so what happened is that I was the head of the Black Culture Center at Iowa State University. And so when I took the job, the guy who hired me, he left. Wait, what did you say, Clyde? When I took the job, the guy who hired me, he left.
Wow.
Because the people didn't like him,
Wow.
And so then what happened is that so then they took out they hate on him on me. And so the head of student affairs So I was blacklisted for 5 years. I couldn't get a job for 5 years. And I don't know why I couldn't get a job. And then I told my wife, I said, damn, I wonder why I can't get a job. She said, Clyde, you blacklisted, probably. I said, baby, I'm not blacklisted because, you know, we went to EEOC and we got that settled. She said, Clyde, you blacklisted. That's when I was, you know, that's when I was still in my manly stage.
Yeah, you was a big dude.
Can't no woman tell me nothing. Can't no woman tell me nothing. I'm a man. I'm a man. She know what the hell she talking about. So then I applied for the Chicago Police Department. And so then they said I felt this test. And so then I decided that I was going to sue him. I almost took him to the Supreme Court, and I handled my own case.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I wrote the motions, all that type of mess, man.
Wow.
So then when I did discovery, I found out that the vice president of student affairs, he had took my employment card out of the human resource office and put it in his office. And so they had it down that if anybody wanted to check the reference of Clyde Winters, they had to go through him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then so I sued and all. It didn't work out. But that's that. But then see what happened is that I was Black Power. So so one day, back in the day we was at Urbana. We're gonna kick ass. We're gonna take the damn world over. So my wife said, Clyde. I said, what? She said, oh, Nitronel. She used to call me on Nitronel because I had a big afro. I can't grow no hair now, but I had a big old afro. So she said, y'all crazy. And I said, what are you talking about? How you doing, Rhonda Lewis? She said, y'all crazy.
Rhonda.
She said, y'all crazy. She said, because y'all at this white man university. That's when I was in Urbana. Y'all at this white man university. Y'all think y'all going to take over the university and y'all going to make him do what y'all want him to do. That is ludicrous. I said, you just don't understand. Power to the people, baby. We going to do this. She was right. So man, so the thing is that so one day I said, I prayed to God. I said, please, God, let me be your vessel. And so I prayed to him to let me be his vessel. And so then what he did is that God started sending me to all these fakers. You see, see, I can make. This is the crazy thing about me. See, I can't make money for myself, but I can make you money. That's crazy.
Why is that?
I don't know. I can't make money for myself, but I can make you money. See.
So we always talk about physical enemies and physical blessings and physical, but what about the unseen? So the energy that's out there, because that's what I'm learning right now is I'm learning about the unseen, because I know about the physical. I know about the people that can do harm to you in the flesh. But what about that energy that you can't see? I remember you was telling me to pray, and you say, man, pray against the enemy seen and unseen. Have them to have no will to even mess with you or anything, even cloud your brain. So I ask you, like, what is this unseen energy? And that's part of my, I guess, the end game too of learning about that energy, because if you're in this game and you're on this playing field, you need to know about the rights and the wrongs. So when you know about the physical aspect of everything, you got to know about the behind the scenes aspect of everything. And the behind the scenes is, we know about a lot of the positive to keep I won't even say positive. We know about the good in order to keep the bad away from us. But once we learn about that, then we learn how to balance the good and the evil. But what is this evil that comes around that's unpredicted, that just swoops in, that some people have, some people don't. Some people have a dark cloud over them. Some people don't have a dark cloud. Some people know their limits. Like you know your limits. You're
But I
like,
had,
oh,
but I
what's
had to
up?
learn to listen.
Well, yeah, you learn to listen, but still to know your limits, because you learned to listen, that's a major aspect to the unseen. That's what I feel. I feel that because you can say, well, I can do this only to a certain extent because I know that I get this out of it, or I can help people get bread, but I can't get the bread for myself. So to acknowledge that, I think that takes that takes a higher conscience to acknowledge that unseen. What do we do to fix the unseen, and what is the unseen? And what do we put a name on that unseen? Because the unseen is everywhere. The deeper I learn about us as B1, the more I learn about there's that unseen energy that's just, it takes over B1 sometime. It can control us, it can move us, it can make us do things. But who is controlling that unseen?
Well, the thing is this, is that, Kudu said, how you doing, Kudu?
So
I
cool,
also
dude.
do better when I help others than when I try to help myself. That
Right.
here's the whole point, is that life is complicated. Life is mechanical. Everything is alive.
Mhm.
See, everything's alive. Every word we say, exists. And it has to be deposited somewhere. See, everything that happens on the earth exists. We think in a sense that, okay, I said this or I said that and that's done. No, it's not done. It's out there. See, you in a sense, because of the fact, in a sense, that we're material and spiritual at the same time. Remember, remember, in this incarnation, I'm in the incarnation of the white man's white supremacist world. Since I'm in this incarnation as a black man in the white supremacist world, then I've been taught three things, maybe four things. I've been taught that there's a past and there's a future. But in reality, it's only a present and a future. Okay. But I also been taught that I also been taught is that I have a physical being, and then I'm dead. See, now this is deep. Because historically, black people in our natural state, we've been taught that we have a physical being, we have a spirit being, and then we have the soul. You see, and so then the spiritual being, in a sense, it has a limited constancy, whereas the physical being, that only has until your life expectancy, until you're killed off or until you die. You see, but then the soul regulates every incarnation. Every time we come on this plane, the soul regulates this incarnation. And so what happens is that, we're fighting because everything exists. Because everything exists. That means that, okay, there's Yoshimad, cool brother. People, if right now, if something happened to you, everybody come out and say Yoshimad didn't have enemy in the world. You see, how do you know? Well, I was talking to Yoshi, and he didn't say nobody was trying to hook him up. He didn't say it was no gang or nobody
Right.
that had a hit on him, or that it was people out there to destroy him.
Right.
And so then that's what it seems like. But see, the whole point is this: is that in reality, none of us are safe. In reality, people can hurt me or hurt you without meaning to hurt me. See, somebody can say that dirty motherfucking damn Yoshimod. Who do we think he is? Now, that's an innocent statement. You didn't have to hear that statement.
Mm-hmm.
They may have said it around somebody, and they said, "Oh man, he okay," but he put that out there because he put that idea out there. Then, therefore, in a sense, that's a threat. That's a threat to your integrity, because see, anytime somebody want to curse you, you have to curse them back, even if you don't want to curse them. You know, even if your mama say something negative, say, "Well, mama, I hope that don't come back on you, but you shouldn't say that." When you're really saying, "I hope if they come to me, I want to come to you," because see, everything exists, and since everything exists, since everything has a physical property, since everything has a physical property, then you have to be careful because see, remember, nothing exists as long as it stays in your mind.
Nothing exists as long as it stays in your mind.
Right. See?
So you got to get it out your mind. You got to write it down. You got to make it physical. You got to speak it into existence.
You have to, in a sense, speak it into existence. You had to speak it into existence. That's the future, man. See, that's the future. What am I talking about? See, remember, all that ish was in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
All that ish was in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
See, it came to you, and it could have stayed there, but you brought it out. You brought it into the world. You gave it existence. You gave it existence. See, that's what I'm talking about in the sense is that the future is through you. The future is through me. But at the same time, the future is through you and the future is through me. It's how do we, in a sense, make that path? How do we move forward? You see? And so see, that's why I said is that, remember what I said is that this is a materialistic world. Everything has a property. Everything has a reality, you see. But the future we make. We can make it good or we can make it bad. And that's because of the fact, in the sense that God gave us the thing that I used to pray back in the day. Why the hell you give me this? And this is what? It's free will. What's wrong with free will? Or is anything wrong with free will, Yoshi?
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with free will. Do as you must, do as you please. Yeah. Do what you need to do. I love how you say, you got to move. You got to put movement into it. You don't want to sit still. When an idea comes to you, you want to start creating. If there's something that you are stuck with and you have a question, we live in a time and a zone to where that question get answered. You have AI out here to answer your questions. You have friends, you got people who are in position to answer these questions. So the question can get answered. The World Wide Web can answer your question. So it's not why can't we do things? It's a matter of when can you do it? So when can you make the initiative to make the movement? When can you put the motion into play? I think that's the question that a lot of us be having. And I think when we get down to it, I think one of my main roadblocks was once I got to that level of I'm ready to do, did I have my thoughts simplified to do it? So did I simplify my thoughts to interact on the game plan? Because you can say, man, I see the big picture, but that big picture is just a big picture unless you can break it down and simplify it and say, all right, what can I do right here now that's in my reach? So whenever I take on clients and I'm ready to do let's say a press kit, or I'm ready to do a commercial, before I can tackle that commercial or that press kit, I need to ask the client, what is their big picture? Once you find out the big picture, then you have to simplify that and say, well, what do you have now? Do you have your logo in place? Do you have your website in place? Do you have all your tags? What are your, what pictures, images do you have? The music behind it, do you have all this stuff ready? When the customer don't have all that ready, well, that's the simplification to make the big picture. I have to do the fill in. So I have to create the theme music. I have to create the logo. I got to create the color theme. I have to create what kind of lighting are we looking at. So that projection has to come from my department. So I look at that as life. When I learn about videos and movies, and when I take on these gigs with these videos and movies and these commercials, I relate that to life so much because simplification can help out in every field and aspect of your life. If you can simplify your life, then you could create your own bio. If you can simplify your life, you can create your own Pathfinder's book. If you can simplify your life, you can speak about your life. That goes along with the shadow work. So if you can discuss the wrongful things that happen in your life instead of keeping them to yourself, another person can benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends of mine that do not like to discuss their past, but their past made them who they are today. So if they're very distant or they're very to themselves, you got to say, all right, what made that person like that? And then you figure out it was something that happened to them back when they was young or happened to a family member that has traumatized them to where they're not looking at your eyes. They're not looking at things like your view because they've been hurt. So to learn who them people are, to know what they went through, I think that kind of helps you out in simplifying yourself. Like I say with the shadow work, it simplifies things to where other people can get over it. If people realize that you can get over something so traumatizing, they can get over it. You become
Sometimes.
sometimes you become a superhero to the next person, because if they can see that you went over that milestone, they're like, dang, if they did it and it's similar to what I went through, maybe I can get through it too.
Anthony LaSalvia, how you doing? Dorville,
What's
what
up,
up,
Trey so
Doe?
far? What's up,
Great
Pete?
so far.
Peace.
What up, Doe? Great so
Mhm.
far says creative direction. Yes, I can relate, Yoshi. I've been in it since 1998 when I was an intern in the art department of Fortune magazine. That was my first time doing Photoshop. But it's very important. But see, that's the whole point. Is that it's a lot of strength. Today I was talking to my niece, and so my whole day I said, "What did I do today?" So we talked for 6 hours, and so
Wow.
she was bringing up things that happened in the past, things that happened, and she was bringing up the fact is that my sister only had daughters, and she was bringing up the fact is how when you're a girl and you might have uncles, but a lot of times you got a lot of perverts around you,
Mhm.
trying to attack you. But then at the same time, that whole idea of not feeling protected. And
Mhm.
I never thought about that because see, I have 5 boys and 1 girl. So then in the sense is that so then yes, it's very difficult, but see, the future is now. And then people say, what the hell are you bringing up that for? What I'm bringing up is this, is that the future is now. But it's obstacles out there. It's obstacles, It's obstacles. For example, I used to think about my oldest son is that the firstborn kid, and when you're a single kid, the firstborn kid has it very difficult because you want to make friends, you want people to like you. You want to make your future well, and you want to fit in, and then at the same time, you're not so much a child because see your parents have always forced you to communicate. So you have better language skills than your little brothers because you had to always communicate on an adult level. But at the same time, in a sense, is how are you able to take that information and be able to be independent? Because see, very few firstborn children can be independent because they want to be accepted by the group. Sometimes it can be very hard. That impedes their future because as we've already noticed, the future is through you. You're able, in a sense, see, you're able to make the invisible visible, but you're able to make the invisible visible because somehow God has given you that ability to touch the unseen. What am I talking about? You have that ability to touch the unseen because you said that when you talk to a client and that client hasn't fully developed his ideas, then you have to bring them out. How do you do that, man? How do you do that? How do you do
that? You study. I think that if you are spiritually inclined and one with yourself, in tune with the harmonies of the universe, I think you can kind of latch on to somebody else's energy and vibe and convert that and kind of path it through you to your creation. It's a skill. I don't really think there's something that can be taught. I think it's a feeling. You really can't teach a feeling, It's something that you just got to feel. You got to be in tune with yourself. And when I say this kind of stuff, I mean, I have met people that can't feel energies. So I don't think that this is something that's a normal in a sense. So when you meet somebody that can feel energies and feel colors and feel spectrums, I think you kind of need to listen to them closely because in one sense, they could be very emotional. In another sense, they can see what you don't see. So
how do you know you met that person though?
I'm one of them people, but I met people that don't. I think you even said it. You don't see spirits like that, But in my world, that's normal.
But I've heard people say that they can see hues around people. They can see auras around people, stuff like that.
I hear about that too.
And the thing is that you were talking about the fact is that it's how do you make that connection? How do you see that spiritual that spiritual relationship, that spirit? How can you detect? Because see, it's a lot of fakers out there. There's a lot of brother fuckers.
Yes,
and a brother fucker, somebody want to bring another brother down. Yeah. And they're sister fuckers.
Yeah.
These are sisters who want to bring another sister down. How do you differentiate between that? How can you see any future dealing with these people when they come to you with all type of malice?
Perfect. Because this is the war game. So at the end of this game, you become a warrior, right? So everything that you learn on how to use your telepathic mind or to read thoughts or to have these feelings. The end game is to now use these emotions and these feelings to start dissecting people quicker. So instead of having somebody enter your life and they are a parasite here to use you and it takes you a year to figure them out, once your powers develop, it will take that year, it'd be a month, and you figured that person out. It sucks that you figure people out that because you'll find out there's more wrong people than there are right, and you start to thinking that maybe it's something wrong with me. Like, dang, man, that person, they're dirty. But then you figure out that the intentions were dirty because then you find somebody around them that's been hurt. you find out they did this or did that dirty. There's opportunities that come across your way, and you have to turn them down because the intentions behind the opportunities don't match with yours. And so you have people that are not in tune say, how come you're not at that level of success yet? How come you're not here yet? How come you're not here yet? And because you're entwined with the spirits, you know that there's more people out there looking to take advantage of you and watch you crash and benefit off of your crash than there is people that actually trying to help you. But here's the thing, Baba, the people that are here actually trying to help you haven't reached that success level yet, so they can help you financially. At least I haven't came across it yet, and I hear stories about you haven't came across them yet, but the feeling. So knowing that there's people that are um, telepathic, or knowing that they have that vibe, I've learned that you have it one or two ways, right? So you have the people who have this energy and they test you because they know how to test the energy. So when they get around you, they'll do a certain ritual with you and they'll raise your energy levels. And if your energy levels can match their energy level, then they know that they can kind of trust you. And to get
Or trick you.
deeper,
Or
trick you, right? Because it can go both ways. Because if you're not a warrior in it and you allow them to raise your levels and you're not able to counteract that and ask them questions as well, then they can find a way how to trick you and get over on you and you become vulnerable. So spiritually, this is something that people don't talk about. I've never heard no one talk about this. The real spiritual test and the real spiritual war. When you do match them levels and you notice that the person don't want to back down, and you can hear that voice saying con artist or mischievous or whatever the name they give that person, that energy, and you don't listen to it, you will get hurt by it. Or if you do listen to it and you cut them off, you will notice that they're almost like, why you don't want to, work with me, or why it is. And, you got to point out their images that was given to you by the ancestors. So I truly trust the unseen to the point where I can hear what they're saying and I know how to move me in these positions.
Do you think that came from learning how to meditate? I know a lot of times you talk about shadow work. Could you tell the family about shadow work and how it can help you produce a good future?
Perfect. So shadow work, you can look at your past and learn from your mistakes, and you learn from your triggers. So if you're driving and you're on the road and somebody cut you off, and the first thing you could do is curse them out and call them all kinds of stupid, crazy fools, then you may want to work on shadow work. Calming yourself down. Is there certain music that can put you at ease? Is there any kind of music that'll put you at ease? I'm not talking about put you at ease to want to make love. I'm not talking about put you at ease to make you want to go to sleep, but I mean put you at ease to relax your mind and have you think. I've met certain people that can't listen to classical music. They can't listen to the orchestras. I can. You can't listen to feng shui. You can't listen to something smoothing, something relaxing, not to put you to sleep, like I said, just something smoothing to where you get into a deep thought. Some people don't even like to get into their own deep thought and think.
But it's scary. Come on now, isn't it a little? Isn't it a
It
little
is.
scary?
It
It's scary,
is.
isn't it?
Look, man, when I tell you, it's very scary, and that's what a lot of people don't talk about too. The face to all right. when you go through something in life and you put that film back up, man, yeah, that's scary, man. That's worse than the It movie. That's worse than Rawhead Rex
No,
film.
no,
That's
no,
worse
no,
than
no, no.
Jason.
I got. Whoa,
Go for it. Go
man,
for it. It's worse than
man.
Freddy Krueger, man.
The
I'm
It
telling you.
movie,
I'm telling
the
you
It
that it.
movie.
Look, your fears are a near death experience.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, times 5? Near death experience that happened to you is the worst repeat of a movie you'll ever want to watch. A car wreck, being in a car wreck, and just remember that impact. Remember when the car hit you, bringing up these memories. Kids that you know, children that you know being abused, and you learn about it, or someone so close to you has been abused, and you learn about that, and then you watch them grow up and seeing how that trauma play out, the knowing and going through that in your head and putting your first. A lot of people can't even put themselves in other people's shoes. I think that's part of that emotion as well. The part of the emotion and shadow work is learning how to put yourself not only in your shoes on what happened to you, but in the person that was doing the work, and getting a understanding of why they did that and what lesson you had to learn in it. Sometimes we look at it and say, man, that dude should have never did that to that little girl, man. And you wonder why. And then you put yourself in that position and you feel so bad and so down and out. You're like, man, what the hell? Why would you do this? But you feel that energy and that emotion behind it, and it hurts and it's disgusting. It's bad. But for someone to feel that energy is for someone to take in on another's character. I think that, Bob, I'm going to tell you like this. Sports and acting, I think both of them are ways for us to show our true power. So remember when I told you about sports, you had a big giants like yourself, that what can you do with all that energy? But you rather go throw a football and hit some other giants and stuff, because if you really had a place where you can actually use that power for something, then you wouldn't have did it for sports and entertainment. You would have did it for that purpose and been acknowledged for that. I say that in the same sense as, we look at, I say sports, and I think it has to do with like music and the feeling. I think these are like attributes that we have to where we can take somebody's feelings and we can put it in, like we can express it. And I think that is like a superhuman attribute that if we didn't do music, we'll be talking to people and getting that energy out of them, and like being a psychiatrist in a sense. I see it like that. I mean, maybe that's a little far-fetched. I don't know.
Because see, when I look at it from, I see two things. To me, a psychologist helps you develop a strategy to overcome whatever problem you have. Whereas a psychiatrist, they want you to go into the inner you, and they want you to in a sense solve your own problem by working it out. But see, here's the whole thing. You brought up something that was very, 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 very touchy to me, and that was it. I saw the It movie back when I was back in the.
That was it.
Yes, it. And the original one was that you would go to sleep and then you would wake up and then your body would be growing in a watermelon and you would bust out the watermelon.
Wow.
And then in a sense, that person would take you over unless you could find it. And even though in a sense you could find that watermelon, if you destroyed that, if they put another watermelon next to you, then in a sense that would make it so. So I always saw that as a very hunting thing. I always saw that as people see, because see, once my wife taught me back in the 80s, my wife said we're at war, and I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" You know, we ain't started the war yet. I said that's what I'm raising the boys for, so they can be ready to fight the war. So I'm not talking about that war. I'm talking about the real war. And I said, well, what is the real war, baby? What's the real war? She said the real war is the war between good and evil. Good and evil.
Yeah.
And so since you're fighting this war between good and evil, if you don't know it's a war, see that's what can hurt you. That's why I told you have to pray. Because see, the thing is, this is that if you don't know a war is going on, and you think you're just a civilian, you see, and you feel in the sense that there's nothing going on, it can be hard because see, you brought up this whole idea of empathy, this whole idea of being able, in a sense, to situate yourself in somebody else's being so that you can make sure that the future can be better for you. But you know, when I was teaching in county jail, I used to teach in Division 1 in Chicago. And Division 1 is where all the murderers and all that type, all those people are. You know, the real heavy crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was the people I work with. He said, Clyde. He said, okay. He said, do you notice the dead eyes? And I said, what is a dead? What are dead eyes? And he said, well, there's certain people that their eyes never speak. He said, all eyes have a language of their own, and all eyes can tell you things. But he said that really terrible criminals have dead eyes. You see, and so after a while, I could see those dead eyes. Here's a little short guy. He was innocent. He looked none, but when you looked in his eyes said nothing. And he had killed 20 people. You know, he was the hitman for his gang. You know, and he had
So
killed 20 people.
so what you're saying is it in embracing your spirituality can be taught if
Yes,
you're open enough to receive it. So this
yes,
goes to the person being open enough to saying, all right, everything aside, I'm in the here and now. What is real right here and now? And
yeah.
let me go through the motions and see. So when you check that dude out, you notice I call it death in their eyes.
But they be talking to you and they be
Yeah.
and you look at their
Yeah.
face, they be smiling, they
Yeah.
be throwing those
But
mannerisms and
here
those eyes.
is just, it's not. And I told
Yeah,
you about that in the hood. That's when
it's
I
scary.
first started learning about me being able to test it out with others. So
Mhm.
I think every person has special abilities. And I think that when you find out your special abilities, I think that some of us ignore them and some of us embrace them. Some of us use them and abuse them. So, like a pimp and a Mac, right? So, you get a pimp and a Mac, they learn the power of the tongue, right?
Right.
So when they learn that power, instead of them being a lawyer or someone that can or comedy or whatever, they become a pimp. They get money and abuse their tongue,
Mhm.
and it's a place for them. So it's not like that lane is to disappear when all the pimps stop pimping. That lane was here, and it's always going to be here. Sad to say, but there's a place for them. So I think that when we learn our attributes, it's on us on what we do. And I think that the problem with the then and now is that then y'all was able to utilize y'all special abilities. Now I think that there's too many distractions to where we're not embracing our special abilities, or the food that they're putting out here is blocking some of us from elevating to that next level of consciousness, as when our bodies develop that special ability. I don't think it'll ever end, But I think, Baba, that we all had a special ability like yours. You have this special ability to sit still, do research, write reports, create books, the images. You're a great. You write literature. You write books. I'm like I said, I'm reading your book right now, and it's off the hook. So y'all check out Pathfinder, off the hook. So you're doing that, and that book right there, me reading it, I'm in the middle of the book and I'm just intrigued by it because of everything that you've been through and what good you've seen and even writing it down, like you actually broke it down and written it. So you written your life. So that's what I'm about, y'all. It's that unseen, that unseen special ability that Baba had for him to write that book. And it came to my doorstep. I picked it up and I read it. That is tight. So
But
everyone has special abilities.
But you brought up something. You brought up the spirit. You brought up the spirit. You know, do you think you can teach? Do you think you can teach somebody empathy, or do you have to be born with it?
That's a good question. I think if you're open enough, everyone has these abilities. That's my point. I don't think that. I think that it's like this. It's like you know what they call it, the zodiac symbols, where people they just pick one of them. But if you really study zodiac, you know that all of the symbols are you. So when you learn that all the symbols are you, you know that every attribute is you. That's why every attribute you can kind of relate to it because it's on you if you embrace it more, if not. But every attribute you can relate to it because everybody goes through these emotions. Even the person that looks emotionless is going through these emotions. And they sometimes feel up, they sometimes feel down, they sometimes feel needy, they sometimes feel tidy, they sometimes feel like, I just don't feel like doing much. So I look at this right here. I think that when you analyze your attributes and you are willing to accept them, I think acknowledging one attribute is the start of learning the unseen. My first attribute, Baba, was weird. It was I knew that if I can imagine myself with a girl, then I can never be with her. So
wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So yes. So if I can imagine myself with her intimate when I was growing up as a kid, my teenage years, if I can imagine myself holding her hands, being with her, or anything like that, she's not gonna like me. The women that I couldn't picture it with always been the ones that felt for me.
That's almost like interpretation of dreams. Most time the dream means the opposite. If you dream about a girl, it's usually a boy. You dream about your mom, it's usually your dad. If you dream about somebody that's old, it's usually somebody young. That's
So the
interesting.
opposite.
Damn,
It's
that's
the
deep,
opposite.
man. That's
Yeah.
deep. That's deep.
That's real. That's something that I know to be true in my world. So I teach my son. Another thing is I can ask a question in my head and somebody will give me the answer. No matter what it is. I can ask that question in my head and I ask it and the answer would come on a TV, it would come on a radio. Somebody would tell me that answer or it would come in a message. I've never went without getting the answer. And I actually practiced that. So these are special abilities. But what I'm saying to y'all is this: you have these abilities too. It's just recognize them when they come and then sharpen that sword and make it stronger and make it stronger and then learn another attribute and then make that stronger, but don't forget about the first one. Learn a third one, make that strong, but don't forget about the second one and the first one. And if you keep on doing these, all of your attributes will be like on swole, like for real, no one can really penetrate what you have. No man or woman can separate what you create. I'm just being real. So have I
But this is an interesting, Yoshi, because I look at from talking to you over the years and the months, and how you started out as just a rapper. You see,
Right.
you started out as just a rapper, and you and you
Right.
and you was working in that. But then how? Damn, man! Look at all the creativity you can do with. You can make commercials. You can make movies. You can you can make music. You can just do the artwork. How did you have all that? Did you know about that when you was in high school? Did you know you had those skills?
No. And yes, it's a no and yes. So thank you for asking that, because in elementary through middle school,
Uh-huh.
none of that was shown. Um, it was just be a kid. I'm all over the place. So I did a little music here. I did a little art there. I cooked here. I did a little bit of, tried to do a little music here and there. Um, as I got older in high school is when the teachers start asking me what do I want to do? And I fell in love with art. So I started doing 2D art and 3D art.
Did you take classes in high school or?
Yeah, I took
Okay.
AP advanced class in art and
Oh,
2D
what?
advanced class in
Damn.
art. Yeah.
Damn,
So
you was bad.
right. So by the time I was in 11th grade,
Uh-huh.
I pretty much completed all of my courses, all of my points, and I had um what, 6 classes out of
What were the
8.
college level classes?
Um, that no, no. If it was AP, it was college level.
Yeah.
And when I wanted to venture off after high school and do culinary arts, I visited one of the Texas culinary arts institutions around here, and
It costs so much money though,
it
man.
cost so much money. My mother was like, "Hell to the no, no, no,"
Yeah.
and they was yelling at the kids, man. They was like, "We're doing a brown bag special," and they was like talking to them like military. And I was like, "Shit, if I want to join the military, I join the military. What is? I won't pay for people to yell at me." But if you look at Chef Ramsay, he yells at people. Mind you, what did I say? I'm emotional. I read on emotions, and if somebody's yelling at me for no reason, I'm gonna think that you're mentally challenged, because
Yeah.
I'm looking for a source of the emotion. And if I didn't trigger no emotion, and you're over the head with something, overreacting, I'm gonna think you're mentally challenged, and I'm not gonna pay attention to you. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm not you talk to me yelling at me, I'm gonna walk away. That's why I couldn't do military. I couldn't serve in the service, because you can you can train me how to be a killer and be calm. I mean, I look at Suge Knight and Jay Prince. They like the calmest mob connected. Suge hanging people over the ledge. Jay Prince getting chickadee done without raising their voice. So I know you can be a real humble, cool, calm,
But you don't have
collected.
but they don't have discipline.
Nah, they
That's
don't
why they
have
in
this.
jail.
Right, 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 right. Well, instead of Jay Prince
Yeah.
not, but Suge Knight. But my whole point is this: even with the discipline, I don't like being yelled at.
Yeah.
So like my mom, she never really yelled at me, and she never cursed.
Mm.
So growing up in a household where my mom never cursed or yelled or raised her voice, I was real cool, calm, collected.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that can relate to me. See, in your field, football, you have to deal with the yelling and the get out
Pain.
there and go get that.
Get
You
up,
got
get
to
up, get up, get up,
right,
get up,
right.
get up, get up.
So think about your environment and match that with my art environment. I'm like a
You couldn't
librarian, you
do
know
it.
what I'm saying? Nah, you ain't gonna write that, draw that. Well, how do you? Nah, we like, man, would you shut up
That
and
line is
relax? Yeah.
right. Erase it.
would you
Erase that line
would you
right
chill
now.
real quick? Let me concentrate. So I think it's a matter of how you're trained growing up. So if like my son, he's athletic. So
Mm.
my son is not gonna grasp some of the things that I do. That that's tedious, that
Yeah.
takes a lot of time and precision. I do a video and he's looking at the beginning and the ending to the video. He's not going to sit there and look at the in between. And that's what I call the shadow work, the simplifying your life part. Do you pay attention to the full movie, the ending and the beginning, and go on with your life? Or can you look at the in between and analyze the in between and say, all right, where did I go right here? Can I make that better? What happened in this situation? How can I overcome this? If this situation happened again, how would I go about it differently? And then once you get over the what ifs and know that what ifs would never happen again, now it's time for you to move forward. Now, if that situation presents itself, you know how to execute it. You know what to do. You know how to move about this. But yeah, back again, you can be taught and trained this at any given level. It ain't, when you turn 50, that don't mean that it's over with. When you turn 60, that don't mean that you can't meditate. When you turn 60, 70, that don't mean you can't do this. My mother is learning. Look, Rashonda Lewis, if you out there, my mother is gonna do yoga under her, and I'm gonna be the one to present it and put the music behind it and stuff. I'm creating it now, and that's just one of the plans that we got. Tons filed. We still got our show coming out, the Spiritual Talk. Also, me and Brother Raxton, we got the Beacon that we're going to present as well. And we got to bring everybody together to have this round table. Also, shout out to Just Eve. Look, shout out to you, player. And that school that you have, the Sunday school, is awesome. I have my son in that school as well. And it's just awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Let's take a break.
Go for it. Thank y'all.
A break right now. But you know, the thing is that it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Life is beautiful. And thinking about the future is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Check that out. You guys got to try to join that Sunday school. I know that Yoshimad, his son, is there, and other people. Join it. Come on, we got to get our kids together.
Today is the day. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education.
G-I-J, comma J, equals zero. Now, G-I-J, comma J, equals zero. Now, say it loud, louder and loud, let us all celebrate. G-I-J, comma J, equals zero. Now,
They're getting stuff done. Also, get some of this jewelry. This jewelry is so great. It is the best jewelry you can find. A lot of it is based on products and it's by Tom's Fry.
Since the goal touch your heart with a dinner rolls. Shake the spirit one time, it gets old close. She gon' take me out of space into another zone. Free spirit, she ain't messing with them petty hoes. Microwaves and cobalt outside her phone. Smoking in that vibe and smoking good on that drone. Call me eat the night with the cuz all up in a fro. This queen approach, she gon' drop it low to the flow. You know she liquid gold with the alchemy in the bowl. Trippy super soul is the greatest tale never told. She gon' get you right, you can set up on your goals. You gon' spend the night in the harmony with your toes. You know she's super fine and the aura down to her bones. Super magic fairy, I'm lost in the rituals. She give me life like butterflies on the rose. Really rich and old, ain't nothing like cracker trolls. Sitting in the clothes, an extraterrestrial. And she never folds, her crackers up in the throat. She drink your wine, she rock you up like a bow. And she spark my mind with intellectual pose. Shake butter balls and linger up in your nose. Independent goddess like rhythm up in the soul.
Yellow honey, drip slow, sweet agave at the toe. Independent finance, wine, citrus mist. My Wonder Woman, I wonder how to.
Get some of that jewelry. Tones Fry. He's some of that jewelry has been found in some of the various mounds, and he's made reproductions of that. Get some of that jewelry so you can look fly. Come on, stop looking drab. Look fly, boy.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just_Us. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Get one of those sweatshirts from Just Eve. Go to her channel. Let's support it. Come on now. We got to support each other. Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book. Get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now. That book, the book is like a Bible. Get the hardcover edition. I have an index in it. It'll tell you about all the history of all the Black tribes, all the Black people. It's not talking about we were the slaves. It's all about our actual history, And that's why it's very important in a sense that we support each other. But again, I hope that you support some of those brothers and sisters. Some of that stuff is great. And again, like I said, is that we have to be helpful. We have to want to help each other. We have to, in a sense, support the ones, we have to support the ones.
If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them take control your atmosphere.
So, right, support the ones who do. Yes, I'll be honest. A lot of times it's hard. A lot of times you don't want to, in a sense, get out there. But come on, share it. Support people. Support in the sense, I know it's the end of it was the appreciation month last month for the black media, new black media. You guys should be out there supporting Professor Black. Listen to this brother. This brother, in a sense, is the B1. He is the originator of B1, Black First. A lot of people say, I hate Pan-Africanism. I'm going to tell you like it is. When you say you're B1, you're for all black folk. That means, in a sense, you are the original, the OG. You're the OG Pan-Africanist. I don't like the way Pan-Africanists are against FBA, and they don't know anything about reparations, and they're about kissing ass. But what can you do? We've been taught I know we've been taught to kiss ass all our damn life.
Yeah.
Our mama said, don't you ever think you're better than nobody else. Mama, if I don't think I'm better than nobody else, how the hell am I going to make it in this man's world? It's a white man's world. In the white man world, you get success. I taught my PhD is in educational psychology. Let me tell you a secret. Research shows that you have to take chances, not do foolhardy stuff, but you have to take chances to be successful. You're not going to be successful if you just sit on your ass and say, oh, somebody's going to discover me. They're not going to discover you, baby. They're not going to discover you, baby. You got to get out there and work. But at the same time, like Yoshi said earlier, you can't be out there waiting for people to come and take your ish or people to play on your ego to use you. Or even to drop names. They'll drop names and they'll bring up this person, that person to use you. It's sad, it's sad.
Don't let it happen, y'all. Y'all got to watch it because they watching y'all. So that's why the future is embracing yourself,
right,
and doing that meditation.
Yeah.
Don't ever say you don't have time to look within. The minute you say you don't have time to look within, that's the minute you acknowledge to yourself that you don't have time for yourself.
Thank you.
And you got to make that change.
Yeah. You got to learn to love you.
Yes, you got to learn to love you. You can't learn to love someone else or learn to love something else until you fully comprehend how to love you. It just don't work.
I know. I remember I was talking once and I said, yeah, back in the day, when I said, I was talking to my daughter once. I said, yeah, I remember, when I met your mom and we had to get over a lot of trauma, family trauma. Because, a lot of times your mom and dad, they don't know they be throwing this on you. And they be giving you trauma that can be very harmful. You see, but then I found in a sense that the way we overcame this was the road, like I used to think I was the most perfect person on earth, And then my wife said, "You're a piece of shit." When I was back when we first got married. I said, "What are you talking about? I mean, damn hell, look at me. I play football, I'm handsome, I'm working on my college degree, and look at your beautiful ass. I take care of you." She said, "But you're an asshole." And then I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be you and you be me." Man, I said, "That ain't me." She said, "This is you, Clyde." I said, "No, I don't know that man, but it was me." A lot of times we don't see who we don't see who we are to other people. We don't see who we are from other people. We a lot of times, in a sense, we don't, in a sense, see that sometimes we can be ignoring things. Sometimes we can be taking stuff for granted. Sometimes we can overlook our skill. And that's the whole point, is that when we don't understand that we're in a spiritual battle, and we're in a spiritual battle to save our soul. What do you mean save your soul? Well, I'll be honest with you. In Revelation, at the end of Revelation, it said that God is going to close up the book. Bam. See, what does that mean to me? That means, in a sense, that I'm playing a role. I'm being an actor. Right now, I'm Clyde Winters, big black old Negro. No, I'm an old Negro right now. I'm an old Negro now. See? And I said, but I gotta play my role to the T. But because I signed a contract with the creator to come down here, he can't judge me. When the Bible and the Quran tell you that God is going to judge you, they're lying to you.
Mm.
He can't judge you.
Mm.
How can he judge you when you volunteered to come down here?
Mm.
Because see, what do God tell you? The Bible teaches you and the Quran teaches you that God will forgive your sins. So how the hell is he gonna judge a nigga like me? A nigga like you?
There you
I
go.
ain't done that much. But so what did God do? God was sneaky. My wife, if she not here, so I can say it. God was sneaky. God said that I ain't gonna judge your ass. I'm gonna make you judge yourself. That's the worst thing on
Pretty
earth.
much, yeah.
Why is that the worst thing on earth?
Yeah, that's why I said that watching the movie It ain't as worse as watching your movie when
Right.
you went through the worstest times in your life. Whatever that time was that made you feel totally uncomfortable.
But wouldn't it be fun if you could lie to yourself?
But then you can lie to yourself, but then that lesson that you learned, all right, let's say, for instance, you got your ass whooped, and you was talking reckless,
Yeah.
and the person you was talking to kicked that ass, right?
Right.
That was the worst time in your life. You got humiliated. That person swept you from one end to the next. Now, the coward way of going about things, I'm gonna have to use that word cowardly, is to forget about it, to say that it never happened, to not even acknowledge it. When that memory come across you and you go to that age and that time in your life and you ignore it,
Yeah.
well, I think that you will miss a lesson.
Yeah.
Because that lesson, like I said before, could have been stop talking reckless sometime, because you
Right.
don't know who's there that can kick your ass. When you think that you're the toughest, there's always somebody tougher. When you think that you are the best, there's always somebody better.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things. Don't boast and be almighty with it. Be humble, sit down, be humble. So I can look at it like that, from that perspective, and say that I don't think that you should shun a bad memory. I think that you can learn from it, because that bad memory won't repeat itself if you remember it.
Yeah.
It can repeat itself if you tend to forget it, because it's going to come in a different shape. And that is that energy that I was talking about earlier. When we really talk about that other energy, because I don't like to call the other energy evil or just wrong. They got a sitcom out called Them, and Them is about that energy. And Them, in the show Them, they really pinpoint that energy on the Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this energy was before the Europeans, and I think that they were just a good vessel for it.
Mm-hmm.
That energy, I think that this energy been around. So I can't say that this battle is just down to white supremacy or whatever. That ain't the battle. I think the battle is, it's that energy that we're never gonna stop fighting. Because if Baba Clyde say that, let's say, for instance, all of the white folks were to just poof, vanish today, where would that energy go?
Still here.
That energy is gonna still be here. So what is the next? Like I say, this is the future, right? So what is the next stage in this energy? Well, what they're doing is, let's say, for instance, nature is the cure, right? And nature is slowly but surely wiping out the ones that are not necessarily in tune with nature, which is the sin against nature. So the ones that are a sin against nature is wiping them out, along with the evil that goes along with it. What they're doing, what they've been doing, is they have labs down here in Texas to where they already creating mutants. They've been doing it for years. Is not nothing new.
They make a movie. They make a movie to tell you they exist, but they're
Right.
there. If they
Yeah.
make it a movie about it, it's there.
The movies are there. So there's a law, and this law is they have to tell you. That is the law. They have to tell you the next move. Now, because they own entertainment and they can use entertainment as a way to give the news out to the masses, and they can put it in a trailer and they can suit it up for you and put CGI on it and make it entertaining, that's their way of presenting the news to you. So if they want to kill you, let's say by a drug, and they want to put the drug already in your drugs. So to all the ones who do the Percocets, to all the ones who do the lean, the mollies, the meth, the heroin, the coke, the crack, the marijuana, the cannabis, to all the people who use these drugs or use these pharmaceuticals on the street market, they put this drug in it and it'll mess you up. Now, there's a movie called The Hitman. I believe that's what it's called, a Hitman's Club or something like that. And these men, they had these suits and stuff, and they talk about putting the drugs on the street, and that's how they put it on the streets. Well, right now, here today, they have made marijuana crystal. They call it diamond. So you'll hear people say, "Man, I got that diamond infused," and this right here is another attack. So I say this because, Baba, you're right. They put it in the movies first, and they let you know what's going down. The zombies, all that zombie stuff, this has to do with the drugs, man.
Yeah.
This has to do with the drugs, the water, the chemicals they putting in the food. This has a lot to do with that. I remember we talked about the food before, and I want to address something. Like I said in that show, it was this, that you speak to your food and you change the molecules in your food. If this right here is assimilation and you speak stuff into existence, watch what you call your food. So if you like, man, this shit tastes good,
It's just
and
sweet.
you're eating the shit. The shit tastes good. Man, that shit right there go hard. Watch what you say, because the universal word for universal definition for shit is doo-doo,
That's
dookie.
right.
So be careful what you're speaking. I
And
know of
you got to be really careful, because see, a lot of people don't know is that your soul, whenever you go into any incarnation, like I'm in
Yeah.
this incarnation now, and so whenever you come in any incarnation, your soul regulates who you are. I mean that's why I was saw this thing, and they was talking about this cycle was talking about how Diddy be trying to take the spirit bodies of certain rappers when they die. He be at the moment they die, they be in the ether world, and then they try to steal their spirit. But they can only steal your spirit because you believe in their ass. A spirit body don't mean shit. Because you got
I'm about to say
you got
that.
three bodies. So
Yeah.
your spirit body, that's just the spirit body at this time. But if you incarnate again, you still got another physical body, and your soul regulates. But anyway, what I'm saying is that you have to be careful what you say. I said, damn, I wonder what it would be like to really try to have a hard time trying to swim. If you got to be careful, because your soul will say, oh, he want to have a hard time trying to swim. or if you say
Right. Thank you, Baba, for bringing
your
that
soul
up.
will fuck you up. Your soul
How
will fuck you up.
how do you fight against that? Because if you in the hood and all you know is hood nigga stuff, then when you grow up and you become one of the streets,
Right.
you're taught how to live in the streets. So when you're taught how to live in the streets, you taught how to look for the wrong first. You look for the wrong in stuff first. You don't look for the good in people. You look
You
for
make
the
choices.
wrong first because you can't trust nobody. So you can't go about looking for the good in people. So your mind state is automatically going to judge that person right then and there, and they're guilty until proven innocent, right?
But
That's
you make
hood.
choices. You
That's
make
hood.
choices because just like you be around a bunch of guys and say, "Hey, we're going to do a train on Sally," and then you coming? No, I'm not coming. You see,
Right. You make
you
a
know,
choice.
and or somebody say we're going out to steal a car. You know, for young black boys between 13 and 16, that is a disease. If a young brother 13 to 16 get into stealing cars, it's like a disease.
It is,
It's like
but
a disease.
let me ask you: do everybody do you know if everybody's born with that conscience, with that voice?
Everybody's born with that voice, but the point is this: that we ignore it.
I heard, man. Look, listen. I was a kid, man.
But
I was a kid.
then the Bible does say, and the Quran does say, is that certain people are meant to be mischief makers.
You see, because when I was a
Some are
kid,
born to be mischief
I
makers.
knew this dude, and I asked this dude. This dude used to he used to steal bikes,
Mm-hmm.
and he taught me how to steal bikes. And I asked him, I say, man, do you hear that voice in your head that tell you like don't do it? He said, a voice in my head, no. You know, so when I tried, like, all right, I knew this other little kid, right?
Uh-huh.
And I used to read the book. I used to read a book, and when I read my book, I used to read with the voice in my head.
Uh-huh.
The little boy, I say, read with the voice in your head. They say, what voice in my head? What voice? And it's it's something that I knew, but he didn't know.
And he
Or
didn't.
that's what I'm saying. So
He wasn't meant to know.
see, that's what I'm saying. See, he wasn't meant to know, but then I taught him how to listen to that voice, and it was on ever since then. But what I'm saying is this: there's people that I think, like how you said, don't acknowledge that voice, and when they don't acknowledge that voice, it becomes faint. They don't get that opportunity to listen to that voice. Man, that voice go hard, Baba. Man, that voice have sung me songs. It has memorized all the Tupac and Bob Marley lyrics, and it reads them back to me. It read your book to me. That voice in my head go hard. It
That's
tells
because
me this. It tells me that. What's up?
that's because you're allowing
I allow
how
it.
you doing,
Yes.
Natty?
Yes.
You're
What's up?
allowing it you're allowing it in the sense to take control because see we a lot of times feel that that most of our good thoughts are in our brain. A lot of times your best gauge is your stomach. When I was a teenager and I
Yeah.
used to be at a party, when I got that gut feeling, man, some say, Clyde, get out. Next day, man, I come to school. Say, yeah, you know, Clyde, after you left, I liked it like that. After you left, such and such happened. So and so got shot on the way home. I said, "Damn,
God damn.
that's it." Like today, my niece, she was saying, "I told you we talked for 6 hours today,"
Right.
and she said, was it as bad when you was growing up as it is now?" I said, in a way it was, and then because she said, you know, she's getting a law degree, and so
Mm.
she said this black girl said this young girl said to her, she's 55, you know, and so she said this young girl said to her, you know, as part of, you know, as black people, she said nothing has changed for black people since the 1950s. And she said that the young girl was telling her that, and she's in her 20s. And then she said, do you think in a sense nothing has changed in the past 20 years, Uncle? I said what I feel is this. I feel that it goes back to when I was a teenager, when I was young, and I was home from, it was over the summer, and I was home and I was talking to my pops. My pops said, "Daddy-o, we got to turn this mother out. We got to get it going. We got to just, damn, Daddy-o, we got to get a BAR. We're going to go out and just blow this mother up." And I didn't cuss because my father would have slapped me down. But I said, we got to turn it out. And then he said, calm down, Clyde. Clyde, Clyde, things will change. You're gonna see change. It ain't gonna look like it's changing, it's changing. So I told my niece, I said, that's the whole problem. Is that things be changing. And they don't be totally changed. But at the same time, in a sense, a lot of things that you're experiencing make it better. It's like what Tones 5 says. He says, that gut feeling is everything. He is so correct. It is everything, you know. Kudu said, you know, recently I had a dilemma. I finished rereading volume 1 of The Life of Apollonius of Tyana. The word barbarian kept being used by Apollonius and Philostratus to describe people other than Greeks. Of course, that's because they felt that you were barbarous, you know, but the thing is, this is that everybody wants to look down on somebody else. You know, even today, I think Kudu, I've been noticing from just looking at YouTube, a lot of people are asking the question, is it class or is it race? You know, and then here's Kudu said, how could the very Indians and Egyptians Apollonius went to learn from be barbaric? They were barbaric because they didn't belong to their culture. Just like you may say somebody, just like Yoshimon, you set a standard for yourself. You decided in a sense is that you don't want no bullshit. Number one. Number two, you want to see leaders. You want to see leaders who are real, who live by what they say. You don't want to see nobody that don't live by what they say. See, so you created a standard, and so when you create a standard, then you gotta stay on that, because see, that is your code. You have to develop a code, and many people don't develop a code, and that's why they don't have a good future. Your future is developing a code that you live by, a code that is harmonious with the rest of mankind, is harmonious with the people that you meet. But see, it doesn't have to be a code that everybody adhere to, you see. You know, but it still has to be a code. Everybody live by a code, you know.
And when we find out your code stank, we don't mess with you. Because you got to have a code. So whatever rules you follow, if it don't add up to what we got going on, because we go by my yacht, if it don't add up to it, then see you later.
Like Chemistry Black Magic said, you gotta stand on your square.
Straight up.
Stand on your square, but you got to be. And see, that's what's. I remember my wife. We was talking. It was back in about what we had just been married, and you know, she was saying, you know, Clyde, what I hate. I said, what do you hate, baby? She said, I hate the fact that there's two sides to everything. I said, what do you mean? She said, I hate that there's two sides to everything. And she said, because it's two sides to everything, a lot of times it leaves some people confused because they don't know what side to choose. But in a way, isn't that life though? You have to make choices. Are you gonna do that shadow work? Are you gonna, in a sense, really it's and see, that's scary. That's scary though, Yoshi. That's scary. It's scary to look at you. It's scary. It's scary to really, in a sense, try to make a judgment, you know, of you, because you don't want to be judging you.
You're gonna change it when you judge yourself. You end up changing your life. One song that stands out the most from all of Michael Jackson's songs, and I want y'all to go back and listen to it. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have ever been any clearer. If you want to stand up and make a change, got to look at yourself and make that change. That's cold, man.
It is.
That whoever wrote them lyrics, I mean, they deserve an Oscar.
He was a prophet, man.
Come on, man, to write that. Come on, to write them lyrics and to to put them out there like that, man, that's genius, man. There's no other word to explain it, but we need to make that change, community. Now,
But you know, they said,
huh,
I saw this thing the other day. I'm sorry, don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought.
go for it.
I saw this thing the other day, and they was talking about that they tried to sell that record to about 10 other people, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't take that song.
That's just like Marvin Gaye. Marvin
Yeah.
Gaye presented that whole album. He completed that album, and he presented it to Gordon, and he wouldn't release it. It took for his daughter to release it. So that's part of that motion thing that we're talking about. You know, as part of, do we wait on them to make that? Especially you been an artist and you're like, man, this song is banging, and you know it, and you know it's part of your character, but then your record label denies you and say, nah, don't release that.
Right.
Now there's an artist out here in Houston. His name is Zero, right?
Uh-huh.
We call him like the most depressing artist in Texas. Like, he's very depressing. Shout out to you, Zero, because I know it ain't your fault. What Zero does is he goes with emotions, right? So when he's going with his emotions in the studio, he'll drop a happy, uplifting song, then he'll drop a real depressing, hard song, and by the end of the day, he's ready to kill himself, and he'll drop that song. So because he went through these emotions throughout the day, and he does this every other day, go to the studio, he has a genre of music that's happy and mid and real low. What the executive producers do, they pick all the lows and put them out there for you to hear. Now, I was very fortunate to go to one of these studios when I was younger, and it was under the artist of Q Stone. And Q Stone was the producer for Zero at the time. And Q Stone let me hear some of Zero music. It was the most inspirational music that the dude sound like the choir, like Jesus was, and the choir was with him singing. The music was beyond depression. And this music is in my head that it would never be released to the public.
Right.
I remember that. But what I'm saying to y'all is this, that, you know, even these artists out here, we may hear the lowest of them, but you don't know what they created in their studios. You don't know what Michael Jackson put out there. It's on him to pick that song. And when he picked Man in the Mirror, come on, man. I was looking at the documentary on We Are the World, We Are the Children, and seeing how they came together to put that together with Quincy Jones and Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And why they put it together. Now, if they raised $1 million, who's the question where the money actually went to? Because at the end of the movie, they didn't say how it benefited Africa at all. But whoever mastermind and put that song together, it was Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, who wrote the lyrics, and Quincy Jones put the music together with some other guys. But that's what I'm saying to y'all, man.
But you're not making the future is interesting, but you have to have a good intention.
You got
have
to
a good future.
You got to have, but your intentions can't be constructed with other people's views. Now, that's the reason why your platform is not at the highest on where it should be, because you didn't sell out, and you're not just looking to be on any talk show with any goddamn body. The same with me. It ain't that we're doing anything wrong. Do we need the market? Do we need to put the bread behind it to really put the content out there? I mean, hey, it should gravitate just like somebody shaking their ass on here gravitate that don't put their money out there. It should do the same numbers, but that's not how the world works. And go ahead.
They had this girl, and this girl, they let her do some music, and she had 200,000 followers. But then when she came out, See, people don't put their money where their mouth is, or they don't put their ears. They don't put their ears where they say they are. You know, they fakes. A lot of people are fake. A lot of people are faking. And as you said, sometimes it can bug you, but I feel that the people who are listening to us are people who need to listen. And
Absolutely.
the people who don't listen, they don't listen. But see, because it's something different. Everything is mainly gossip. But
Yeah.
sometimes you want to talk about the real.
Thank you. So that the spiritual, what we talked about today, what do you get out of everything? What do you get out all this knowledge? So what do
Yeah.
you get out the history? The history, you learn the history so you can know where you're going in the future. So you cannot have shit to repeat. Okay. And if you wanted to repeat, and there's a blessing that you get out of it, you'll know how to repeat it because it becomes a blueprint.
Right.
The spirituality that you learn. So when you go through the shadow work and you go through all of that spiritual work, you learn how to trust your gut feeling. You learn how to read people right up front. The spirits talk to you real quick. You're not crazy. It don't make you go crazy. It's just when you out here doing business with people, you know how and who to do business with right off top. You'll know who's out here to F over you and who's not. Now, I'm what we call collapsing time with that in real time. Like Just Eve say, in real time, I'm collapsing the time because what I'm doing is I'm getting better with acknowledging the brother fuckers. I'm getting better with acknowledging the sister fuckers because soon as they come about, I know how to maneuver through the maneuver.
Yeah.
And once I get that to where it's, as soon as I talk on the phone with somebody, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Boom. I know how to handle this person. Send this person to my ego, my other ego. Send this person to my other, because your brain, you got to separate your characteristics in order to do business, especially when you're independently doing business. So
Right.
spiritually, you have to be bipolar. Spiritually, you have to say, well, all right, I'm gonna be this person on this mind frame on this call, and I know how to handle this person according to what they looking for. I know how to handle this. So you really have to separate yourself, and I call that simplifying yourself, people. So simplify your thoughts. That's the end game. The end game is simplification. The quicker and the better you can, because the thing is, people, they're simplifying things for a different reason. They're simplifying it so they can control it. So what they do to simplify things is they break down molecules, because if you don't know what's going behind unseens in the unseen world, then that unseen shit can rule your physical. So if you know what's happening behind the unseen, if we learn what molecules it takes to make this seashell, and you break this seashell down, and then you duplicate and replicate this seashell and send it to the market, however you do it, but just duplicate it, then you are a creator of seashells. So you have a full understanding with it. So what they want to do is understand you, your melatonin, your melanated, your melanated mind, the way how you think. But melanated people, we advance, I believe, every 2 weeks. Our melanated molecules change, and we keep changing, and we
Especially
keep
over the stomach.
upgrading.
Especially over the stomach. That's
come
sunlight.
on. They can't pinpoint our melanated, our melanated, the melanin in us. They can't pinpoint it. They can't stop it. Like he said, when that sun hits us, it changes us. So when they put out a disease or something, they wait to see how long it takes for it to make a chain and reaction. That's why when you go on these studies, they're looking for a cause and effect. Well, if we give you this pill, how long do it take for this black person for it to kick in versus this other person to kick in? And they look at that and they do the statistics, run the analytics, and see what's up. So that's what I want to bring to y'all: simplicity. So they're winning in this simplicity world, because if you don't know how your television work, then you got a lot of learning to kind of do, in a sense. Just know how it works. Just know the little stuff, the simplicity part of it. Know how your light work. Know where how your computer cut on. Know what material it's made out of. And before you get overwhelmed, remember this: you have millennials to think about this. Just like Baba said, he reincarnated in this form right now. So if Baba channel in on his old reincarnation, he takes that knowledge with him, and then he takes that knowledge with him. And if we're reincarnating through our bloodline, and that is what we're doing, if we can go through our bloodline on reincarnations, like on that movie, I don't know if y'all seen it. It's the Book of Clarence. When he was being on the cross, when they put him on the cross, his mother said, "Find your way back to me, son." Because when you transition, you can find your way back. And it's all about you, how in tune you are here today. It affects how in tune you are in the afterlife. So however strong you are here right now, your energy, it really affects on who you are when your physical leave and what you can do in that spiritual world, because the spiritual needs the physical to maneuver, to move. It needs it. So to the ones out there that can hear the spiritual world, embrace that. And I'm here with y'all. I thank y'all and I love y'all so much for being on the front line. Y'all embrace it. We embrace it together, and we move through this together, because we can hear what they choose not to hear. We can see what they don't want to see, and we can feel what they don't want to feel. And we embrace that. And I want to thank all of y'all out there for, you know what I'm saying, for embracing that right along with me, because I know I'm not crazy. And I thank y'all for going down that road with me. So yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Kudos to y'all, Baba. Yeah, I had to put that out there, brother.
Okay, family, thank you guys for coming. Please support my Patreon. Please support
Mine
Yoshi.
too. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
to Yoshi's
Thank y'all.
website. Go to Spotify, buy his music, because his music have words. His music has things that can enlighten us.
It really can.
Again, in a sense, see you next week, gang. Bye.
Lay y'all.
Yeah. Right now, it's time to wrap everything up, you dig? Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Yo. And Dr. Clyde Winters, Den and 9. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody. All y'all support. Y'all like, subscribe, and share this. You dig it? Yo. You've been invited to the Den and 9. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the Den and 9. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winters in the Yoshi mind. Intro, outro to the Den and 9. We gon' see it, so have dinner now. Yeah, raise your head. Why put them down? B1 on that Den and 9. FB8 on that Den and 9. FBB on that Den and 9. It's all about unity on that Den and 9. My indigenous folks on that Den and 9. All my Africans rise on that Den and 9. Rise up on that Den and 9. And don't forget to subscribe to Den and 9.